sometimes we pray to God and it just feels like He's not listening. I may have prayed for a change to occur or blessings to come into my life, and I have yet to see that change or those blessings come. But just because it feels that way doesn't mean that it is that way. When we start including God in our plans and we start praying to Him about the changes that we want, it's never falling on deaf ears. The moment that we include Him in what we got going on, He's like, bet. I've been waiting on you to include me. I've been waiting to hear from you. So training day starts now. Think about how many times you wanted things to miraculously change in your life just because you wanted to escape those circumstances. But you know good and well, you may have not been necessarily ready to take on those steps. So let's say you're trying to move from job to job, but you need certification to get into this job, right? It's the same thing that's happening when God is preparing you to go from one stage to the next. He is certifying you. He is making sure that you are strength and conditioning. Like when you go into try for a new sport, you have to get ready to play that sport. You have to prepare before the season starts. So right now, this is God preparing you for that next season. So even though you may have prayed for that change to occur and you woke up the next morning still feeling that emotional heaviness of it all, and it's like, why am I still feeling this way if I asked for it to go away? Why am I not seeing those changes? If you feel in that way, it's because God is trying to purge you out of whatever it is that's making you feel that way, out of those emotions that you feel. And it's like it's got to go through you like a virus. It's got to run its course the same way that a virus would. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's exactly how it works. Why do I know that? Because I've been through it so many times. And it was like, it got to the point where I would feel those emotions over and over and over again. It's like, God, are you not hearing me? I'm tired of feeling this way, but that's the key. I still was feeling those emotions and it hurt so bad, but I started to get tired of what I was feeling. When you start to feel tired, you start to be like, okay, I'm done with this. It's not that you're done with crying. It's not that you can really control that. But then you start to look at, why am I even crying in the first place? Why am I even feeling this emotional heaviness at all? Maybe I'm dealing with something that I don't even need to deal with. Maybe I need to get these people out of my life. Maybe I need to purge certain mindsets that no longer serve me. God allows that stuff to flow through you, and He allows you to get to the point where you might get so tired of being sick and tired, so that way you can open your eyes and get away from that. Do you see what I'm saying? You asked God for a prayer, and what He revealed to you was something that you needed to let go of. And that's something that we don't understand. We think that it's supposed to be like the fairy tales or the magical things. And even though God is magical, He can make all this stuff happen. For us to really have the change that we're looking for, we have to go through changes within ourselves. So this is training day. This is the season that is preparing you for that season that you prayed for. You got to go through stuff to get to stuff. You got to go through stuff to get stuff. Keep remembering that. When you feel like your prayer has fallen on deaf ears, it has not. What is that one Bible verse? Forget the things of the past, do not dwell. I'm about to do something new in you. I want to say it's somewhere in Isaiah 43. I know I looked at it recently and I just cannot remember it right now. You may not necessarily be able to forget the things of the past immediately, but allow those emotions to flow through you. Allow yourself to release those emotions so that way you can get through and get to what God has for you. Another thing I just thought about is that when we get more comfortable including God in our situations, our ideas, our plans, we'll start to get different responses from Him. You know how I said you might not understand what God is doing and it might seem like He's just letting you go through it. Sometimes God will put an idea in your head. He will give you a direct response and you'll know that it's Him. I read this devotional the other day where this woman was saying she just really wanted to have a good day, but not only did she want to have a good day, she wanted to walk in love. She wanted to share love with those in the world. So, she's like, I'm just getting ready. I just want to walk in love. Don't that sound like all flowers and daisies and wonderful things, right? And then God gave her like a direct response. It wasn't necessarily like a vocal one, but it was like an idea that kind of popped into her mind. So when she said, I want to walk in love, God put it into her mind that how are you going to deal with these two people that you tend to be extremely impatient with? That's almost like God challenging you, right? You said you want to do this, so what about this? These are the two things that really get under your skin on a regular basis. You lack patience with these people, and if you don't show them any patience, how can you walk in love today? What if I make those the only two people that you deal with? Are you going to walk in love, or are you going to choose to revert back to your old ways just because they make you sick, when they're doing it, whatever it is that they're doing? When in reality, you could just have patience for them because nobody else is going to act the same as you do. Everybody is not the same, so sometimes you got to give people grace and give them patience and understanding, because there's things about you that people don't like either, but maybe they show you grace and patience. That's a whole other thing. But what I'm saying is that communication that you have with God, he's going to tell you where to go. He's going to continue to refine you and what it is that he put in you, the things that he's trying to get rid of. That it's a process, and he's going to continuously challenge you. He's not going to give you too much. How they say God will never give you something that you can't handle. A lot of times it feels like he does, but he's actually working things out of you bits by bits. You see how it changed real quick from me saying that first thing as far as the virus getting out of you, and it's like, God, are you listening? Are you hearing me? And then once you start to come out of that and you start talking about other things, he's going to start talking to you in other ways. God reveals himself in different ways. And just to be able to say, like, well, what about this? Did you think about this? As annoying as that is, no, they got on my nerves. I can't stand when they do this every day. This actually makes my day worse. I'm glad that he would even challenge us that way. Right there in a moment, it's like, oh, you put me on the spot and this is hard work, but this is exactly what I asked for when I was asking for a better life. For you to also make me a better person who could receive it.